Hi Facebook. I promised I would stream some of this stuff, so I'm just answering a question about what happens when mealtimes become the sticking point in the day and you've just spent an hour preparing a really nice meal, you're quite tired, you're running out of energy to give your kids at this point in the day, and your children, maybe they've just been watching TV while you've been cooking, they come to the meal and they're off track. They don't want to eat what you've provided, they don't want to sit down and connect as a family. There's kind of defiant behaviour or arguments. So what to do about that? I think that the fundamental piece is that it's a time where you're not feeling resourced. So to really start with putting that in place, thinking about how much listening time do you need so that you can be more resourced at those times, and maybe when do you get listening time? Is it possible that you can time an exchange just before you pick up from school so that you're a bit more refreshed for that chunk of the day? What's actually happening here is that your child is using your good attention. So they're noticing that you're available during meal times. You suddenly become available. You stop cooking, you stop being busy, and you sit down with them. So that accumulation of feelings that they've built up through the day, where they've had to rein it in at school, or this stressful thing happened, or somebody shouted at them, or whatever conflict, they've been holding that the whole way through the day. And now suddenly they're able to kind of let loose. And unfortunately, it's probably the time where you're not really wanting them to do that because you've got your own expectation of what mealtimes might be like. So that's one thing that's really useful in listening time, to explore, how are mealtimes for you in your family when you were a kid? What was that like for you? How do you want them to be in your family? And then if you can start to actually anticipate that your kids are going to use this window of time to start working on their feelings, so that you can actually almost welcome it, like, we're gonna work on these feelings that you've been carrying around all day, and here's our moment. That in itself might change things. Or if you really don't want to do that during the mealtime because it's interfering with, the food that you've cooked is going to get cold, or you actually just really want that time to connect as a family, you can build in the time that's needed for connection just before the meal. So put everything, keep it all warm, and move in with some connection before a mealtime. So if kids have been watching TV when you're cooking, which is a really common thing because, you can't give them attention while you're doing that, that's a further break in connection for them. If they've already been feeling kind of disconnected through the day, then they've gone into this kind of screen zone and they're not feeling felt, they're not feeling your attention. So a really good way to break that is to move in close, maybe spend a minute or two just watching whatever they're watching with them, or just delighting in them while they're watching it, noticing what they really like about this cartoon or whatever. And then either through just having offered your attention, when you set the limit, okay, it's time to turn off now, we're going to watch TV, that might be where the feelings come up and you can move into stay listening. Or you can instigate a game of rough and tumble. So rough play before a meal is a really good way to release some of this tension through laughter. So that's a great time to start the sock wrestling or any kind of wrestling, pillow fighting, any silly games at this point that will make them laugh. And then you can also continue play listening through the meal. So anything that's taboo in your family, that's a really good one to play around. So if it's, I hate this food, then you can be the one that hates the food. Don't make me eat chips. God, I hate chips. I'm not going to eat chips. And you could be the one having a paddy at the dinner table. Or just, getting it really wrong. Missing your mouth, feeding your cheek by accident, or dropping things, or spilling things, or being the one that, nobody is allowed to scrape the chair, and then you do it. And you're like, oh, God, I can't believe I did that. Or whatever you think it is that's going to get them laughing. So it's anticipating that this is probably the first time that they've really got your attention in the day, maybe, and either making space for that or just kind of welcoming it and finding a way to be playful around it. Is that helpful? Any other questions about that? Okay, cool. All right. Thanks for watching.